We're here. There has to be.
It is challenging. 24/7, we are worried about our kids. We don't know what they're going to be like when they get out into the community.
Yeah, I think it's important to have police officers be aware that there is this spectrum. It's an autism spectrum disorder, so it's going to be very mild or very severe.
Sometimes I feel like anyone with developmental disabilities, they're misunderstood, and sometimes bad things happen to them because of that.
So we thought about creating a program to help train first responders, police officers, firefighters, how to give them more information about autism, what autism looks like, the whole spectrum, and how they could properly respond and be better prepared to handle situations when they run upon people who are on the autistic spectrum.
And so that is why we decided to create Code Joshua. Joshua's Gift is a nonprofit organization that we started because of our personal journey with our autistic son, Joshua. Due to some of the difficult challenges that we faced, we wanted to assist families by providing direct financial contributions, services, and products to those living with autism. An autism diagnosis is painfully debilitating and life-changing. So we increased our efforts to support the social, mental, and emotional needs of our families. We wanted our families to be seen when they're out in public. We want our families to be accepted, respected, and included. This is why we also supported them with social excursions by taking them to Warriors games, to Oakland A's games, and by taking them to sensory-friendly venues like we did with the California Academy of Sciences. Autism is continuing to increase throughout this country and around the world, and the impact on thousands of families of color is even more severe. The social and economic disparities affect an even greater number when Black and brown people with disabilities are counted as part of the impacted community. Our most vigorous campaign is our Code Joshua initiative. The need for first responders to be appropriately trained on how to assist individuals and families in crisis situations is critical. This is why we created our Code Joshua training program to help law enforcement recognize the general and specific behavioral indicators associated with autism and IDD. We believe our trainings are helping law enforcement learn how to diffuse elevated situations that can potentially lead to a tragic outcome for our loved ones. We are incredibly fortunate to have wonderful partners like Cisco, the Oakland A's, and the Golden State Warriors, and Beaches Resort. They help us provide real change for the autism community. And as our partners, they are paying attention to our families' needs and experiences. And we are so appreciative and thankful to them for being our partners. The purpose of our annual Autism Forum is to bring together leading experts, advocates, and families to learn, inform, and educate the general public on issues of concern to the autism community. All of us benefit when everyone is included. At Joshua's Gift, we continue to seek and create a society that invitingly accepts, respects, and includes everyone.
Also, it's a blessing. I mean, our kids are a blessing, and they bring out a blessing in their own way, and this is such a proud moment for, such kids who can bless others, and it brings some hope and brings some happiness in a way that, parents like us who just look for a little from here and there, looking for anything that, that can kind of ease our moment, so, and Joseph is 20 and mine is only 10, so I'm still have a way to go before I'm in your level. You know,
but you know what? We're here to hold your hand on this journey.
Experience. And
That's Joshua.
Oh wow, it's such a blessing.
Yes.
He truly is. He truly is a blessing. He's a gift, and he's had such an amazing impact on our lives.
Yeah.
And because of him, we are able to do this for your family, for families like you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO and co-founder of Joshua's Gift, Misbah Brown-Rich.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out. Can I just take a minute and give Cisco some love? Let me hear it for Cisco. I love working for this company. They are an organization that no wonder they're the best. They're the #1 company that's chosen to be for people that want to work here at Cisco. We're like family here, and the support is just amazing. So thank you so much again for coming. We're so happy to have you here. I want to tell you about this gentleman that's coming to the stage. He is an extremely skilled broadcaster and one of the best in the business. For years, he has moderated our Autism Forum, and this year he is back again with us. He has such an innate way of communicating with his audience and capturing their attention. And he's one of the most profound communicators in the business. His ability to draw different perspectives and to impact wholesome understanding will allow you to walk away with some very valuable information today. Some also valuable resources and some familiarity with the traits and behaviors of autism. He's been one of the top news anchors in the San Francisco Bay Area since 2017. Since 2007. I'm sorry, 07. Thank you for correcting me. He's also an award-winning newsman with more than 40 years of broadcasting experience, and he has covered some of the biggest news stories in our time. His news reports have been broadcast on CNN, CBS Radio, MSNBC, NBC News, and the Armed Forces Radio Network. So I cannot say enough about him because this man with a golden voice means everything to us. To my husband and I, he is a dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Dave Clark.
Thank you, Misbah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Misbah. I love her, but don't tell her I said that. It is such a pleasure to be here, to see you. I'm glad that you're here. This is a very special event to me. You may be wondering, well, what does he know about autism? I do know. I'm a dad. My son, David, is 30 years old. He's diagnosed autistic. David has a dual diagnosis. He has seizures in his sleep that he's had since he was 9 months old. So those seizures took away his speech. They occurred in this part of the brain. So I've never heard my son say, "Hi, Dad." But he loves me every day, every day. Those of us who live with autism, we know the life that we live and how important a conference like this, the kindness of Cisco for providing this conference, how important it is. And there is so much information you will get out of this conference, I promise you. We will have a good time, we will have fun, but we will learn things on how we can live our lives better and take care of our family, our children better. The information is going to be right here, and you're welcome to ask questions, make comments. There will come a time when you can do that. So at this point, and I'm so happy to be here with my wife, Lucretia Clark. She's sitting on the front row, and even though you may not see her, she's there, and she's here. So what I want to do right now, we're going to watch the clock, take care of the time, make sure we use this valuable resource we have here in the best kind of way. We have a panel of experts. I'm going to ask our experts to please come up on stage. They're going to file up, take a seat. We're going to get to know them. We're going to pick their brains, and we're going to have a good time doing it. Now, I know there are so many unanswered, come on up here. There are so many unanswered questions that we're beginning this day with, looking for answers. We're going to get as much of them as we possibly can. So look at our fantastic panel of experts. I'm going to take time to introduce them to you, and you'll understand them better. I'm going to start with Officer Diana Grant. She's right here from the San Jose Police Department. She is here. She's going to talk about, among other things, training within the police department on how to adjust to deal with someone who may be diagnosed autistic. Thank you, Officer Grant. Next is Lisa Kleinberg, right here. She's the executive director of the East Bay Regional Center. And anyone who has a family who deals with autism, you know the regional center is very, very important. And Lisa is as well. Thank you, Lisa. This lady right here, this is Caroline Deutsch. She's with the Livermore Valley Joint Unified School District. She's a behavior analyst. And she's here, and she has insights that she will bring to us as well. Thank you. Ellen Cookman. Yeah. See, Ellen Cookman is an expert when it comes to estate planning, which many of our families, we don't know what to do next, whether it's conservatorship, limited partnerships, all of those things. There is an expert here who can answer questions. Ellen Goodman. This lovely lady, Sheridan Nicolau. Sheridan is the Bay Area Regional Manager for the California State Council on Developmental Disabilities. One of the most available people you will ever meet, who knows what's happening in the state relating to autism and things like it. Sheridan knows. Thank you, Sheridan. There's a gentleman down here. There are two dapper gentlemen down here, just to be correct. I'm going to start with Pernell George Wint. This is Pernell. Pernell is the Senior Business Development Manager, Northern California for Unique Vacations. And not only is he a great man who is very active in the Bay Area community, but before this day is over, some families, because of him, will win a vacation to the Bahamas. It's wonderful. We're going to pull that winning number. We have a raffle. Last but not least, you know, he's tall and handsome, but he really is my brother. Down on the end, I've known him 20, 30 years down in LA. He's an actor, he's a singer, he's a producer, he's a director. He runs one of the best camps. It's called, through his company, Inclusion Films, where children with diagnoses like autism are shown the behind-the-scenes world of entertainment, how to make movies, TV shows, to learn things. This man I love it. This is Joey Travolta, and if his name sounds familiar, he's John Travolta's brother, but he's my friend, Joseph Travolta. And
you have a chance to win a trip to New Jersey. Oh, no.
That's a good one.
just to make you smile. You know, we're going to start by, we'll have plenty of time for question and answers. You're going to hear different things. You're going to want to ask questions or take pictures and meet people and all of that. We'll do all that. But let's just get started. Lisa, I'm going to start with you.
Right.
The Regional Center.
Mm-hmm.
For us, our families, for people of color, what does the Regional Center do and what can you do even better?
Great question. Thanks for asking that. I mean, the Regional Center is an organization that's really supposed to serve everyone in our community with an intellectual or developmental disability like autism. And we have case managers and we work to identify services that we could provide or that others could provide. And we really want to support people in getting those services and making sure the right services for each individual and their family. We are a very diverse community in the Bay Area, and there are some things we do really well around language access and making sure we include everyone's community in our services. But we certainly do not always have the right services for different families. Our services don't always meet family needs. We hear that we don't have enough providers who speak the languages people want. We don't necessarily have enough providers who really feel culturally congruent to different communities. And so we need to do better to make sure that our staff, our service providers, and the things we provide are done in a way that they really meet the needs of every family and aren't just about, a service, but they're really about looking at how that service fits for everyone. And I think that's something that we need to do better. We have worked a lot on grants to support different communities through service access and equity, but we need to go a lot further.
Just quickly before I'm going to go to Sheridan next, I remember when my son David was in the process, in the beginning, we didn't know what we were doing. We were afraid of the Regional Center only from the standpoint, you're the one that could possibly say, no, we can't help. And there may be other families who may have had that feeling. You understand what I'm saying. Not that Lisa did it, but it's like the Regional Center.
And I think a lot of people, and I've seen this in many communities, are afraid of bureaucracy, of us making decisions that don't necessarily really take into account their experience. And that's something we're really working on. How do we do that better? How do we avoid any biases we have about different cultures from within each individual that works at the Regional Center or our service providers? It's critical. And it's something that we need to do better to make our staff reflect on how they're approaching each and every decision. And also make sure that our systems are opened. I really believe in being transparent about how we do things. And families and people served need to know all of those things.
And there's another point before I leave you for this point. You're saying that many more doctors and professionals today have personal experiences with autism than they did 30 years ago.
Correct.
Either through their family, friends, which makes a big difference.
It does. It does. I mean, I think that when I went to school, and I'm pretty old, I did not go to school with anyone with a developmental disability that was identified. But today, my daughter went to school with many people with developmental disabilities, and people she went to school with are teachers, doctors. And so there is more of an acknowledgement of disability among young people, but we need to go further. and we need to make sure that that extends throughout the whole community.
This is a jumping off point.
Yeah.
Sheridan, pick up on that. You were shaking your head while she was speaking.
Yeah. Certainly, looking at the future that we want to build together, everybody, whether we're here sitting up here, you all joining us today in the audience, everybody who's tuning in live or streaming, I mean, we have roles to play, and many of us have multiple roles to play to ensure that we have a future that's inclusive and going deeper into, if we value diversity and we know how critical diversity is for success in business, success in education, success in innovation, success in the public and the private sector. We know it's right, and we know we all succeed with it. So what can we do at all levels, from advisory bodies, leadership bodies, representation in positions of leadership? There's nothing too small or too large where we can't look at how do we make those systems, how do we make those processes more accessible for people with autism and for other disabilities. That's kind of, the proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of ways that we can do this. At the State Council of Developmental Disabilities, we're thrilled to be able to work with our community partners, whether that's individuals in the community with autism, family advocates, professionals, people that wear multiple hats. We're happy to work with you and to find the best ways that you can make an impact in bringing true inclusion and diversity into all levels of our community. And then we all succeed that way.
Sheridan, well said. I'm going to jump back down to the end and just talk to Joey, but I just want to ask members of the audience, how are you holding up physically with the life you have that look on your face? There are times when you feel like you don't have the strength to stick out your tongue. We all know. I mean, we love our family, our children, but we also know the toll it can take more than anybody else. And I know you understand. I just want to acknowledge that I do understand and I do know. We'll come back to that later. Joseph, let me ask you, Joey Travolta, why do you do what it is you do? First of all, way back when you were in New York, you were a special ed teacher.
I was a special ed teacher. Before that, my two best friends growing up were both special needs. One of them unfortunately passed away last week. And a friend made a comment. He said to me, with Dominic passing and the other gentleman that was a good friend passed away a couple of years ago, he said, you started inclusion films back when you were 16, when they were my friends, and we remained friends all those years. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge your passion and so many things that you do working with those young people. You started Inclusion Films.
Yes.
Explain exactly what it is and what you do.
Okay, so Inclusion Films is a practical film workshop that trains adults with developmental, intellectual disabilities in filmmaking with the intent of going into the film business. How I came up with this is I didn't go to film school. I was a special ed teacher, but when I taught through music, I taught through acting, improv, because if kids will watch TV for hours and hours, if you can make your lesson plan as interesting as that and entertaining, then you grasp somebody. So once I got on the set of my first film as an actor, I wanted to know what everybody did, because I was interested in music and acting. But then I saw this community, grip, electric, producers, accountants, lawyers. I wanted to know what everybody did, and that's how I learned that. And I thought to myself, well, if we could teach our folks the same way I learned, by being able to be there and experience a production, and that's what we do. We teach lighting, camera, acting, sound, editing, all those things, and then we make films within the programs that they get that practical experience. Then each one of my partners, Futures Explored, and Options for All, we have 7 studios around the state of California, but we also have the production company. And the production company is where they go next to work on different jobs. And it's been years breaking down these doors, but they're opening. I mean, we did close to $600,000 in jobs over the last 4 months.
Really?
Which is like unbelievable. And most of, and most of that money goes towards employment. And the great thing now, Regional Center, Disabilities Council, all these different places that support us are hiring us to do their video work. So it's a win-win because they're getting great content, but most of the crews are made up of the folks that we've trained.
Wow. So, Joey, that's great. You have to admit that's just great. Now, before I go to Ellen, I just want to ask you, there may be some parent who's here saying, you know, I've got a great kid, but they probably wouldn't pick him. Maybe you don't think that, but someone might. What kind of hurdle does a kid who's interested in movies or doing a TV show, working with inclusion films, what kind of hurdle do they have to get over?
Well, we're regional center funded. So they just have to set up a tour or go through their coordinator. Again, Futures is in Livermore. Actually, Hester's here, who runs the studios. And Sacramento, Stockton, Hester started with the camps first. So she did camps, and then she was in Bakersfield, then in Livermore, and now she runs the 3. And who else is here? Options for All is here too, Frank? Where, Karen? Yeah.
Over here, yeah.
So they run San Diego, San Bernardino, and San Jose, and I'm Bakersfield.
Okay.
But we all have this partnership. We did a feature film right before the pandemic called Carol the Bells. 70% of the crew was made up of folks that we trained. And it got beautiful reviews, played all the circuits, but I wanted to prove that it could be done, given the opportunity. So you gotta, you know, I call myself an opportunist. I've already hit these guys up for jobs for our students. So.
Great, great. And I had the pleasure, I've known Joey for so long, but I had the pleasure of watching him and his crew film a video for the San Francisco Fire Department and how we're helping to train those firefighters, which I'll talk to Officer Grant about, the first responders. We were talking to them firsthand about what you may anticipate when you meet someone who's diagnosed autistic. And Joey's crew did an excellent job. Behind the scenes, filming, all of that, they were top of the line.
Well, thank you for the work.
That's
appreciate
right.
it. Yeah.
Joey Travolta.
Thank you.
Ellen, yes. The reason Ellen is one of our experts, she's an expert in estate planning for the future of our. I don't know of any parent has someone diagnosed autistic as their child wondering, what if I die? What's going to happen to him or her? Who's going to take care of them? How do I set up something? And who do I even ask? Well, Ellen's that person. Limited conservatorship, all of that, that's what you do, correct? Mm-hmm. Tell me about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, so, and I'd say it's not necessarily what if I die, it's when I die.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
Because the one thing we know is going to happen, right? And I have so many clients who, you know, they're staying up late at night worried, you know, what's going to happen when I'm gone? Because you're the advocate for your kids, and nobody's going to be able to do that job like you can, right? But really what we do in estate planning is we try to put together a team to take over many of these roles. You know, you may have a family member who can do a good job managing a trust for your child, but the family member may not be the best choice. So maybe you'd want to choose a professional. There's banks out there, there's private fiduciaries who do a very good job. Then we also want to have financial advisors involved. I know there's some financial advisors in the audience who can help make sure that there's going to be enough money in the trust, and typically you do a special needs trust to protect the needs-based public benefits, that there's enough money in that trust to last for the rest of your child's lifetime. You're kind of doing retirement planning, but a lot earlier, right? And seeing how do all of these components work together. So we're not just like putting together some documents, but we're figuring out a plan for when you're gone. Housing, that's another huge thing. When do you try to set up housing for the future, right? So there's a lot of team members. I'm so excited to meet all the panelists here because we work together to try to figure all of this out, right?
Yeah. So it is, just tell me, it is doable.
Oh, yes.
Correct?
Yes, it's doable. There's so many options there. I actually, little plug, I have a YouTube channel, Ellen Cookman Law, so feel free to look that up. And I have a lot of bite-sized 10-minute videos just talking about the different subjects that come up, whether it's when your kid gets older, what to expect, or just basic estate planning for you. We all want to avoid probate, so how do we do that, right? So there's so many questions that mull around in our heads, and I feel like sometimes we get paralyzed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know where to start. I'd say just start by learning the basic language of estate planning, watching the different videos or reading about it, and immerse yourself, and it'll start making some sense. I learned Japanese a long time ago, and I felt like it took like 7 tries to learn just one word. And I feel like estate planning, it's a new language. So the more you get immersed in it, the better.
Okay, I hope that helps. And think about any questions you may have for Ellen about that. I'm going to go. Yes, go ahead, Joseph.
Who shoots your videos?
Oh.
Oh! Huh?
See, originally I thought you said estate planning, and I'm thinking I only have meat once a month, and I thought, but anyway, who does shoot your video?
We'll have to talk later.
Okay,
yeah.
there we go.
Nice.
My job here is done. I'm going to go down the line to Caroline Deutsch. She's a behavior analyst with the Livermore Valley School District. And I want to ask about what it is you do, and particularly about building independence at home and at school. What are you doing? How do you make that happen?
Sure. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm really honored to be talking to everybody today. I am a board-certified behavior analyst, but I do want to tell you quickly why I am that. I have a diverse family. I built my family through adoption, and I have children who are Black, Latina, and Caucasian. And 2 of my children have special needs, and 1 quite severe special needs. Not autism, but a disorder that greatly impacts brain functioning. And my son will likely be living with me for most of his life. So I found out about the practice of ABA and becoming a behaviorist because of my child and the diagnosis that was given quite young, where we were actually told to not tell anybody about it because it wouldn't be accepted. And so, raising a child and being isolated from the community and, isolated from birthday parties and all those things that you kind of think as a parent that you're going to get to go through. And so I found out about ABA and kind of thought, well, I'm going to go back to school and learn some of that because insurance doesn't cover it for my son's situation. And so that's what I did. And so I say that because I bring my personal experiences into my practice every day. And independence is a huge thing for me personally, as well as in the trainings that I do within our district, in talking to families. Sometimes I share my story because I think it makes it a little bit more relatable. I'm not someone who has a textbook who's saying, I'm going to tell you how to raise your child, or I'm going to judge you for what you're doing to get through your day. And I say that to our staff all the time, that really, to me, one of the really important things is viewing the child as a child first. You are a person first. You may have a disability, but that does not define who they are or who that family is, nor how we should treat them as professionals. So that is a guiding principle for me in my practice. Independence is something I talk about all the time. So sometimes people are coming and saying to us, we really want an adult to help my child at school, or we want an adult to help do things for my child. Some people need that, but at the same time, we want that child to learn to get them to work themselves out of a job, is what I say all the time. Be there to support them, but be there to teach them to be independent. We want people to be out working in the workforce, to be functioning socially to the best of their ability, and to be a part of their community. And that's really, that is the main thing of what I feel like my job is every day as a behaviorist.
I love to hear that. And I have to tell you, for me, I have this recurring dream I've had for 30 years. My son does not speak. He doesn't speak. But I have this dream that he and I are sitting on the front steps as we do all the time. And all of a sudden he just started, you know, Dad, the war in the Middle East, I think we should do this. And and I always prayed that all of a sudden it would just 30 years would just come out. Now, that's just a dream, but it's still a good dream.
Can I comment on
yes,
that for a
go
second?
right ahead.
So that's something that I often say to people who are working with our students who have disabilities. As parents, we don't talk to our children in 3-word sentences, or we don't speak to them in directive, unsympathetic kind of language or very sort of rigid language. Just because somebody can't speak verbally to communicate, they're a person, they have a personality in there.
Yes.
And so as parents and family members, community members, we should be speaking to them just like we would anybody else. To make the assumption that because they can't necessarily communicate the way we, for the most part in this room, communicate, doesn't mean that we should treat them any differently.
Yep.
And sometimes I see people, you know, having conversations or referring to the person in the third person, like, oh, she needs this, or she needs to go and do this.
Yeah.
No, we need to, they're here, they're right here.
Right here.
And sometimes people have behaviors because they get upset that they're being left out of a conversation. And so that's something, I think it's sort of, it's partly that we're used to getting reinforced by somebody else's speech, right? So if I say hello and she says it back, it encourages me to have that interaction. But we have to surpass that need for reinforcement. And this is a person who's hearing what we're saying. And when we're talking about people by name, we need to treat them with respect, just like we would anybody else. It would be rude of me to have a conversation about her in the third person right in front of her. Why would I do that with anybody else? And so that's something that I get where you're coming from, and it's another thing that, you know, I always say, families talk in full sentences and talk to their children as if they can talk back.
Yes.
Or the way that we expect them to communicate.
And my son knows and is just a key part of our family. So you said that so very well. It leads me right to Officer Grant, right next to you. You're with the San Jose Police Department.
Yes.
And among your many jobs, you help train officers on what to expect in interacting with people who are behavioral different challenges. You knew what I meant. So what is it you do, and how do you do it?
Can I first ask who lives in the city of San Jose? If you just
Quite a few people.
I am glad that you guys are here. If you ever see me out in the field, don't be afraid to say hi. It would be really nice to talk to you guys. So what I do, I am a part of the San Jose Police Department's the Bureau of Field Operations in a special unit called the Mobile Crisis Assessment Team. I recently transitioned out of the Psychiatric Emergency Response Team. San Jose, as always, is always ahead of the curve when it comes to training and just making the connection with the community. So we are actually the first agency in the state of California to mandate a 40-hour crisis intervention training. Most agencies in the state only do 26 hours. So in our CIT is what we call it, crisis intervention training, we go through various approaches to mental illness and various approaches to disability, which includes bringing in people who experience life as a disabled person. And it's really nice to be able to talk to someone and get their firsthand experience, their lived experience, instead of sitting in a classroom, like you explained, and theorizing about what it might be like to have that encounter. And I do want to stress that one experience is not every experience.
Yeah.
So just because we have one volunteer with one condition doesn't mean that the entire department is going to start believing that if I don't have this specific interaction like I had in the academy, then it's not autism or it's not a disability. It's just one tool that they can use of their experience on how maybe I could be recognizing autism when I'm talking to someone, or maybe I could recognize that I should slow down.
Yeah.
Which is something that we really do stress in our department. You hear it a lot. We talk to each other. If you ever run into us talking to each other, the two things you'll probably hear is see what you have and slow it down. And by see what you have, I mean, in the San Jose Police Department, we are trained to figure out our purpose. How are we helping this person? Are we helping them get back home? Are we helping them get medical help? And while we're having that discussion, everything slows down. There is no rush to make a decision for another person. The only thing that we want is to be sure that people are safe at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we slow it down, even if it means, hey, can you just wait here so I can go look up a phone number on my phone because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Or can you wait here while I call a supervisor to help me figure out, this problem? Our solutions in the San Jose Police Department is not immediately jail. We actually want to divert people who struggle or live with a disability from the criminal justice system back to their homes and the health and hospital system if needed.
This is interesting. That is awesome. I have 10,000 things going through my head, but what you said just made me think of why Misbah Brown Rich and her husband, Kerry Rich, created Joshua's Gift. All of those reasons, and one of the focus of the organization now is working with police and fire departments, telling them from the perspective of someone who lives with this, how do you identify things? And I was thinking as you were talking, my son, and I keep going back to a first person thing, my son, he's 30 years old, he's big, he's strong. If a police officer said, all right, walk towards me, turn to the left, raise your hand, get down on your knees, he would have no idea what it is he's being told to do and might possibly be injured or worse for not following directions. That's the life most of us know about, and that makes sense to you.
It does, yes. So I don't want to get too much into the jargon, but that is confusing. The hands up, hands down, turn over here, do the hokey pokey type instruction is confusing for autistic people or people that do not have autism. So again, at San Jose Police Department, we slow it way down. If we recognize, hey, this isn't working, we change it, which is why we try to stress to family members or anybody that calls for a crisis response, give us everything you've got, even if you think it's not important. If you think because they love Doritos, that's gonna cause them to wanna come home, please tell the dispatcher. If you think that the sirens are going to be upsetting, if you think the lights will be upsetting, even if you think the blue uniform that we normally wear is going to be upsetting, please tell us. Because in my unit, at least when we are available, we wear a more subdued uniform. It's a gray polo shirt if you ever see us out in the streets in black pants. So we've seen in real time that is a lot less intimidating for people with disabilities to see someone just in a polo shirt, know immediately they're not in any trouble. But seriously, when you call in to the police, whether you're in San Jose or not, please give us everything, a doctor's name, mom's name, things that trigger them, things that don't, things they enjoy, ways to communicate. If they're nonverbal, please let us know if they communicate with a tablet or sign language, and what kind of sign language, because there's multiple kinds. Anything you could think of, there is nothing that is irrelevant, there's nothing that is not useful for us. Anything you can think of, seriously.
And that is so well said. And think about any questions you may have, but when we get to that point. But right now, yes, go ahead, Sheridan.
Just to piggyback here, just to share some context when it comes to law enforcement and the role that all of us have to ensure we have safer communities for community members with autism and their families. There was a study maybe 10 or so years ago, and out of law enforcement officers that said, yes, I think I can positively identify people with autism in the community, only 30% actually could. And then if you look at the overrepresentation of people with autism, both as being victims of crime and survivors of crime, and also being overrepresented in the criminal justice system. In fact, we know for justice-involved youth that a significantly large number of those, 65 to 70% of justice-involved youth, have a disability. So that's 4 times greater than justice-involved youth without a disability. So these are some things to keep in mind. So it starts in the community. So if you're involved in emergency response and preparedness systems with first responder systems, or can get involved as a community member, that's important. But you can also host a block party, a community party, or you can just take your family members and book time, contact your local station and go down and say, hey, it's about building those relationships from the get-go, which also rises expectations of what we as community members expect. And we expect our family members, our friends, our loved ones to be safe in the community. We expect our emergency response professionals and first responders to have the education and the tools and the partnerships, right? To be able to do what's needed so that our loved ones are protected and are valued and appreciated. And that captures so much of what we're doing overall here. We're moving away from awareness, right? Yes. We need to move even further past acceptance, and it's got to be about appreciation and value for people with autism, whether we're talking about children in our community, adults, seniors, folks that are non-speaking, people of color, folks that have co-occurring disabilities, right? We need to show the appreciation and the value and the contributions and make sure we have folks that are guiding us in that process.
Didn't I tell you we have great experts? Come on. Thank you, Sheridan. I'm going to go down the line to Pernell. Now, Pernell, when we take a break, we're going to spin a wheel, we're going to do a raffle, and give away what I hope will be your trip to the Caribbean for you and your family. But that falls under Pernell. Yes. But Pernell is so much more than that. Pernell is active in the community. You and I were talking beforehand about what you do. And just talk about what you do, how you try to help in the community in San Jose.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. I listen to all of the expert panelists, and I'm thinking to myself, that is where my company will come in to put the icing on the cake, to allow you to take your family and the children who might be on the spectrum to have a wonderful time. So I've been with Sandals and Beaches Resorts for over 32 years. I don't know if you picked up from my accent that I'm from Jamaica, right? So I live 5 minutes from here, and I even listening to Officer Grant, right? Yes. I've always been involved in community outreach. Presently, I'm doing volunteer work for Second Harvest Food Bank. I've been doing that for over almost 2 years. Coming to partner with Joshua's Gift, that's something where my passion is. So I'm responsible for the entire Northern California. I work close with the travel advisors to make sure that when you come to us, they're able to put what you're looking for together to make sure that you and your family have a great time. So, those are some of the things that I do. So let's talk about what I do now for Sandals. I come to the table here with a lot of experience. I started working, at one of the resorts in Jamaica. I then worked at the call center for Sandals, and now I'm responsible for Northern California, working with over 1,000 travel advisors. Beaches Resort is where the focus is, because Beaches Resort has been the first company that is certified as an autism location. Not only is the first hotel company, but we're the first as well to be recertified through 2023 as an autism center. All of our staff at our resorts are well trained to make sure that when you get in, everything will be in order. And there are a lot of groundwork that need to be done from a parental standpoint in terms of checking with the airline to make sure that the arrangement is smooth, reviewing with the airports to make sure that the noise level and all of that kind of thing. is arranged. But once you get into our location where we operate, we have 2 beaches resorts in Jamaica and 1 in Turks and Caicos. Once you get in, that is where, as Sandos and Beaches Resort, we will get involved and take the situations over. Our resorts are all inclusive, so all your meals, your drinks, your water sports, entertainment, transfers, every single thing is included. You know, if you're a diver, we're able to work with those who are on the spectrum to make sure that you enjoyed diving. We have our culinary concierge aspect of the company. Our resorts have some 16 restaurants per resort, and we want you to experience all of that. We will work with those on the spectrum. Our water sports as well, we'll work with those on the spectrum. Our kids camp, our teens location, all of those are things that we do to make sure that when you come to us, your stay will be memorable and second to none.
I have no doubt. Go ahead, Joey.
I think we should do a film camp at one of your resorts. No, I'm serious.
What, Joey?
No.
I agree.
You do that. Think of what respite it would be for the family to be doing a film camp.
You put them to work on vacation.
That's right.
You know, this is so good, and I'm telling you, during the break, we're gonna roll and pick that raffle. Purnell will be picking that.
Excellent.
And it could be you.
There you go.
This is so good, and I just want to say just a thank you to Cisco for letting us do this. Yes. And I think this is a great time. I know you have some questions, some comments you want to make. We're gonna take a couple of minutes. Does anyone have a question or a comment? Ma'am, go ahead. Stand up if you can. That's okay, Bet. You don't know how to turn the mic on? That's okay, keep talking. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a special needs trust and everything, but my question is this. If something happens to me, God forbid, I pass away tomorrow, then he's without a limited conservatorship. So do I need to take some sort of legal action and have the next person that I would want to be the limit go through the process? Because I know it was a very intensive process with, you know, having court mandated, you know, employees come to the house and make sure that everything was on the up and up. Yeah. So what is the procedure?
Yeah, how do you set up a succession plan for a limited conservatorship?
Yeah.
So there's a few ways to do it. One way, if you do have a family member, like a sibling of your child, that you want to take over, you can name them as co-conservator now. Now, they still do need to go through the whole vetting process. You'd think that if you're a parent, you would be the obvious choice, but they have to ask you, do you owe them any money? Do they owe you any money? Are you a felon? You know, like they ask you different questions. And so whoever you're proposing to be your co-conservator does also have to go through that process. But I believe the regional center doesn't have to file another report. And, you know, there's certain things that don't have to happen. I also suggest in your will, you know, if you update your will, you nominate the successor conservator. So at least the court knows who you'd like to name. Okay. And then upon your death, somebody can step up and quickly get a temporary conservatorship. You can get that like within a week. And then that lasts for about 3 months. So then there's some time to line up the new permanent limited conservatorship.
Okay. Not for everyone, but for a certain group of individuals, conservatorships may not be really the right way to go. We may want to encourage independence and supported decision-making, and that's something that's really recently come to California. Sheridan's organization is doing a lot of work on looking at that, but that allows someone to identify people who support them in decision-making, but don't necessarily take over. So there's a variety of different ways that we can approach decision-making, and a lot of that depends on the person's ability to really participate. Some people can, Some people need something more formal. So
Okay.
It's all about options for folks. Yeah, California passed this last year, Assembly Bill 1663, which is working to, we're in the middle of starting to implement it, right? So what we're doing is we're making sure that courts and schools and hospitals and healthcare settings and families and individuals with autism and with disabilities have resources and options and can better understand alternatives to conservatorship, and that these systems are respecting that, supporting that plan. We're working on a technical assistance program for California courts so that there are better resources available to individuals and families. So building more options here in California.
Okay, and where do I go to get that? What would be the best website or place to go?
Yeah, we're just in early stages of implementation, but there is a lot of terrific resources available. You can contact any of your local state council offices. If you go on our website, scdd.ca.gov, we can refer you and make sure you get information so you can make a choice that's right for you and your family, right? And that's what I think all of us here want, is we want you to have the information you need to make the choice that's right for yourself and for your loved ones.
And I have a video on supported decision making too. So.
And Joey's going to make another one.
Joey's going to do the second.
Okay, thank you.
Did that help you a little bit?
It did. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, we have a few other questions here. Go right ahead.
I have a related question to.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, so my son has autism, and he also has epilepsy because of the autism. I'm trying to get a second medical opinion, because prospective day programs and also group homes, they're having a concern about him having epilepsy in addition to the autism. But as I seek out that second opinion, a lot of these healthcare providers are asking, well, you know, he's almost 22, and are you able to make decisions for him? So when I mention, well, he's under a limited conservatorship, they have no idea what that even is. And so they want to know why there isn't a power of attorney. So I'm wondering if it's just I don't know, nomenclature as to, is there a difference between power of attorney? I don't see a difference, but they don't seem to understand what a conservatorship even is.
Yeah, so when you conserve someone, one of the rights that you might take away from them is their ability to enter into contracts. Right. And so a person who's conserved can't necessarily sign a durable power of attorney. So it's kind of one or the other. A lot of times I do encourage people, you may not want to conserve your child. You may not need to. You can have your child sign a durable power of attorney and an advanced healthcare directive to voluntarily allow you to take steps on their behalf. And also, I love supported decision making. But if they are under a limited conservatorship, which is very well known in the state, so that's why I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah. Then typically they would not enter or have a durable power of attorney.
Would it be redundant to have both?
I don't know if they have the legal capacity to sign a durable power of attorney if they're under conservatorship. So I don't know if they even.
He doesn't have capacity.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, he can't.
For sure, he has no
capacity.
capacity.
Right. You have to kind of understand, like, you don't have to have super duper capacity, but you have to say, okay, this is my mom. I love her and I trust her, or maybe not even love you, but trusts you, right? and I want her to make decisions on my behalf for my finances. Like, that's the conceptual understanding that. And so if your son is not able to understand that, he can't sign a durable power of attorney, and a limited conservatorship is what's appropriate.
And I think so many people here in this room now
are in that. He doesn't have a power of attorney.
Yep, that's it.
Check out the conservatorship, does the same thing.
Right.
All right, okay, good, thank you.
Thank you. Nicole is over here with her arm raised up. Nicole, Bev is coming over there right now. She's getting closer. She's almost there.
Yeah, she's there.
Getting her workout for the day.
Okay, hi everyone. You all will be hearing from me later. However, I must admit that I had to step out of the room, trying to keep my words together.
It's all right, Nicole.
But you all don't understand how much I did not know that I needed to be here. You know, as a parent to an autistic daughter that's high on the spectrum, and thank you, Carolyn, for sharing your story, because my daughter, she was born with a neurological disorder, so I was aware very early on that autism may be a byproduct of it. But Ellen, I definitely will be listening to your YouTube videos, for sure. Just all of the experts. I really appreciate you all just sharing everything that you've have thus far. Because as a parent that is navigating this world with an autistic daughter who is also a twin, she has a neurotypical twin, and navigating that. And transparently, I'm doing this while not having a biological support system.
Understood.
So essentially, you all have become my extended support system. And you've opened my mind up into so many different things, even with questioning about the limited conservatorship and just being able to understand, okay, what are the next steps that I need to take as I continue to just ensure that I'm having the best of her needs met, being a working professional. Again, I commend you for just being that advocate, and I could hear the passion with everyone. I felt the love in the room, and it was overwhelming, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So just wanting to simply say thank you, like this being a part of just this platform, this audience has significantly impacted me in ways that I didn't even know would happen. So it's just more so a comment. Thank you.
Nicole, that hug was from all of us. Thank you, Bev. We have a question here, and we're moving towards having family members come up on our panel, and people who know what it's like to be autistic. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so I have one for Sandals, and then I have one for our officer. So for Sandals, you know, a lot of times the resorts, they have lots of activities for children, but many of us have adult kids. And it's gonna get me crying. So, you know, you think about trying to take them on vacation, and, you know, they might want to try something different, but they perhaps don't have the staff available for the adults who are autistic, or, you know, they don't understand, like, when they get overwhelmed, what does that mean? And how do you handle that, you know, without me being present, perhaps, and hoping to give them that independence. And I didn't think talking about vacation would get me so teary, but.
We hear you. We hear you.
Yeah.
We hear you.
Yeah. So, and then I do have one question for you too.
I appreciate your question and the emotions and all of that. Let me just make sure that I differentiate Sandals and Beaches resorts. So Sandals Resorts is an adult couples only resort. So 2 people to a room, you have to be 18 years or older. That's Sandals. For Beaches resorts now, we cater to the entire family. You can arrive as a single, arrive as a couple, or arrive with the entire family, which includes children. So Sandals Beaches Resort is an autism, it's a special needs resort. So all of our staff are well trained. All the activities are geared towards those who are on the spectrum. And yes, while we'll focus on the children, they also take care of adults that are on the spectrum. And, you know, so I want to alleviate any kind of concern. We've been in the business for over 42 years, so we're actually good at what we do. The company as well is a family-owned company. So they come to the table with the understanding that the entire family needs to be catered for. Yeah. So you and I need to speak off the air that we can start to look at some perspective, look at some things, you know, and to work with your family to make sure that we recommend the ideal resort for you. We're a Caribbean-based company. We're in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Bahamas, Barbados, Antigua. I can just continue doing that. And one of the things that is ideal as well, we're the first hotel company as well. We're rolling out an autism week in the company. So we are doing a lot of things to make sure that when you come to us, right, you'll be well taken care of. There's no restriction in terms of what you can't do. You can enjoy the water sports, you can enjoy, we have our kids camp, we have our nannies club. We're just an overall company that will make memories come through. So, we'll do that.
It's interesting because one thing that I don't know, many of you may have experienced with your children, but my daughter did not appreciate other children until she was about 4 because they were unpredictable and noisy, right? And so now as an adult, she does not like being around other children. And so when we've taken her, maybe we had an opportunity with my husband's work to go to Hawaii, and we were at a very quiet, really adults-oriented resort, and a bunch of other people had their kids over at the Hilton. She was in heaven being at the quiet, adult-oriented resort. So that might be another program to think about, you know.
For sure.
But my question for you then is, so we were able to arrange some housing for her in Los Angeles, where she is a voice actor and doing audio engineering and thriving and loving it. But my huge concern with her moving was safety. And she's in an area called Panorama City, which, you know, people hear Panorama City, they're like, why is she living there? And we're like, well, you know, she grew up learning Spanish. She's very comfortable with the community. She appreciates the diversity, and it's very family oriented. And it's a place she could afford to live. So, but I really wanted to like go to the police station and go meet them and, you know, introduce myself as a parent who's worried, like feeling like the helicopter parent. And then but in my mind, I thought, well, I'm bothering them. You know, they have much more important things to be taken care of.
No.
So.
Oh my goodness. Don't cry. You're going to make me cry. So I do, before I answer your question, want to bring back something that Sheridan actually said earlier about officers not being able to identify consistently people who have autism. I have autism. Nobody, I'm sure, was able to tell until I said something. So it's different for everybody. I would say it's a family-based decision. And I think, and this is me speaking as me, not as Officer Grant, if this question has come to your mind, that it is something that you should do. I can't speak for other agencies, but for our agency, we welcome the community. If you want to call it in, if you want to show up in person, if you want to create.
And let them know about your program, and that someone else is going to stop by and say hi.
Yes.
You know?
So there is a form that might be applicable for your family. I'm not sure of your daughter's needs, but it's called the AB 1424 form. I don't know if you've heard of it, you probably have. So it's easily accessible on NAMI's website, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. In that form, you essentially put all of the history that you know for your daughter or whoever you're taking care of. You would also be able to include your contact information if needed, anything, just like I was saying earlier, if there's anything you want the police to know, you can put it onto that form. I always recommend when I'm in the field that the family has one master copy that they can make copies of, because it's not like something that you want to lose. Because let's say, for instance, you're at work, but you have knowledge that someone needs to check on your daughter from a law enforcement perspective. You could have, who knows, a friend. You could send the friend the copy, and that friend could produce the copy of the information.
So she has an ILS worker through Regional Center who lives 3 hours away and who happens to be a college friend. Because the agency didn't have enough employees, and they said, can you recommend someone, even if it's a family member? And so they were able to hire her on. So like we would have that in place. I just didn't know about the form, or this is one of those things that's been in my head, but I haven't addressed it. So this is great.
You can also reach out to the local state council office in the LA area, and they can help get her connected and maybe do some warm handoffs with her local department even. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
And that's one of the things that, with my regional center, our crisis response team really encourages people to connect with their local police department. And it's really about relationships as well. When you think about, you know, someone in contact with law enforcement being asked to stop or hold your hands up or whatever, you want the person to recognize the police officers and know who they may be, because it may be similar people on the street. And I think that's also true with your neighbors, making sure that your neighbors also appreciate your family member as part of the community and don't get upset by some things that might happen. And that's, you know, I think that's important too.
All great points. And I have to, you know, I get to go on TV and we have to talk about some very difficult things. But I know there are some, like Officer Grant, there are some great police officers.
Yes.
Not only here in the Bay Area, but all over where we're reaching to. Back there too. There are some great people, and I just want to acknowledge that. We're going to wind down. I told you we're going to have a panel of family members and people who are diagnosed autistic come up before you. I want to thank you, first of all, for being a great audience. You can't do anything if the audience isn't great. You're great, and I thank you for it. Before we change panels, I want to give each one of you a final comment you want to make about what you represent, what you do, and any thoughts you want to send as we wrap up. I'll start down on the end.
So I think in listening to what people are talking about and listening to all of our experiences, what I've learned over time, I have neurotypical and neurodiverse children living in my home. And we're a very mixed bag of, you know, creative family, and it's great. There's a spot for everybody. And it's just finding, sorry, I'm gonna get upset.
It's okay.
It's like,
it's all right.
the way I think of it, everybody's got a spot at the table. You just have to figure out where the right seat is. And so figuring out for if you have siblings that you're raising at the same time, how do you balance their needs and then the needs of your child with disabilities? But you find the right people. You find people that, you know, accept your family for the way they are, that are there to support you. You don't need a large amount of people. You just need those people that are going to stick by you through and through. And so my kids are a little bit older now. They're starting to become adults. And I actually think that our experiences, as tough as they were sometimes and continue to be at times, have made them really compassionate, caring people. And we need more of that. And so everybody has experiences sometimes that you think, why was I handed this in really tough moments? And then you think, I'm here for a reason and I'm where I need to be. Yep. And it's gonna be okay. That's kind of my message.
That's a great message. Officer Grant.
I know as a Black woman, there is something called the talk that we all have at home. Yeah. That talk includes how you are expected to behave when stopped by law enforcement. I recommend, even though this is something that is maybe culturally exclusive to those of color or marginalized people, to have the talk
we have a few questions.
With everybody in your family. Explain to them when the car comes up, from the point when they're talking to them to the point where they're able to go back home, what you expect should happen, and talk to them about how they're going to perceive each step. Because what we don't want to happen is the confusion that we've been talking about, with the arms up and down, this and that. You could even, I don't know if it will be fun or not, practice. Just have the conversation.
Interesting, yeah.
Can you show me where you keep your wallet? Can you show me that you have your ID card in your wallet? Can you show me that you have my phone number in your wallet? Those sorts of things. And again, if there is a crisis, do not be afraid to call the police, but make sure that you're not calling in a panic, because you can't help someone else when you're in a panic. Yeah. Collect yourself, give us all the information that you could possibly think of, and we will do our best to help you with whatever the crisis is.
Well said. Sheridan?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about opportunities and partnerships and connections here, but I just also want to call out the hardships and the challenges, right, that our community members, we and our loved ones face every day. And so there's a place, speaking of a place for all of us in the work to make things better. So whatever your role and your passion is here in the room, folks that are watching, whatever your passion is, whatever positions of power or influence that you have, Maybe it's in business, maybe it's in education, maybe it's in government, maybe it's in public safety. Whatever it is, there's a way for you to help build more inclusion and access and equity in the systems that impact us every day. State Council on Developmental Disabilities would love to partner with you and help you find where's that best place to make an impact. Maybe it's talking with your policymakers and legislators. There's a million opportunities, and it takes us all to demand a better future and to build that better future for our community members with autism and with other disabilities, and we'll get there. We have to, be up front and acknowledge the hardships and the challenge, acknowledge what systems are underfunded and under-resourced, right? Acknowledging what communities are underserviced and under-resourced, and then just tackle it. And we can get there together, and I think that'll help drive us, right, past awareness and acceptance and truly into value and appreciation for all of our community members, where they have full access and equity and inclusion and rights. We'll get there. We can get there.
Hear, hear. Lisa?
So much wisdom on this panel and in this room. And I'm struck by sitting on a panel and learning so much, both from you as the audience and your experiences, and from the panel that I want to connect. But I think the one thing that I think I've heard from everyone is each person is an individual, and we need to look at what those individual needs are. And that is really at the heart of how regional centers are supposed to provide services. Now, we may not do it the best we can, and we need to hear about that because we need to do much better. And as an executive at a regional center, I want to hear from you if we're not doing something right, because we need to make improvements. We are not perfect, and we need to do as well as we can. But it's great being with all of you today. And we now provide recreational options for people in the local communities. So recreation is back for regional center clients, so that's a great thing.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, Lisa. Ellen?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Lisa said. I've learned I didn't know about the AB 1424 form. There's so much to learn. So I have a 10-year-old son with high-functioning autism and an 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old neurotypical child. So I'm also in the, how do we meet both needs? I think from the attorney perspective, it takes a lot of advocacy to get the services that your child needs and to make sure that you understand all the different public benefits that are available. There's actually a lot of benefits out there that are available, and they're really hard to get sometimes. They make you jump through a lot of hoops. So I'd say, persevere, really work hard at understanding and the benefits that your child might, qualify for change over time. When you retire, a child actually can receive an income stream. Half of what you receive is, a lot of people don't know that. So seeing, okay, as time goes on, what might my child be able to receive from the government, and then what you have can supplement whatever that might be, and together we make just the best quality of life for your child.
Well said. Thank you, Ellen. Brenna?
Yes. Thank you. So for the past 23 years, Beaches Resorts has been voted the best family all-inclusive resort by the World's Travel Award. So it's it's a reputable company in which you can trust us to take the family down, those who are on the spectrum, to enjoy. When all is said and done and the difficulties, we're giving you the opportunity to unwind. We're giving you the opportunity to enjoy travel, enjoy staying at an all-inclusive resort. So feel free to reach out to me. I do have some materials that you can take with you. Take my business card as well, so at least we can start putting things in place for you and your family to enjoy a trip to beaches or to Sandals. I'm so excited. I can't wait to know who the winner is for the trip. So I look forward to that.
Oh, Mitzvah, you want to add something?
I do want to add something to that too, because having an adult son, and I can so relate. I can so relate. one of the things that we're also concerned about is traveling, is getting there. It's an amazing resort, and it does accommodate our adults, kids as well on the spectrum.
Yes.
But getting on an airplane, oh my God, you know, and traveling the distance to beaches. Beaches does partner with the airlines as well, and there's a few airlines that is partnering with them to take our kids from California to beaches, resorts, and Turks and Caicos, and also throughout the Caribbean as well.
Yes.
Wow.
Excellent. Well said.
I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Vote with your pocketbook, meaning for your local airport, you know,
Yes.
find out what are they doing to make
Yes.
travel and the airport
Right.
experience more comfortable for all people in our community. So for example, San Jose International Airport is one airport that has reached out to the State Council and to other community advocates and said, hey, we want to get better at this. Can you help us implement our inclusive program so that people either with visible or less visible or invisible disabilities have access to better supports, services, spaces, sensory, you know, spaces. So we need to demand that, ask for that, work towards that, and demand that from all businesses that we use, right?
Well said. Joseph?
Well, I believe everybody's got a gift. You just have to be able to find that gift. I love working with this population, and I want people to see what I see and the opportunities that are available. And it takes a village.
He really does.
We are that village. And for the parents, I mean, there's some great stuff being developed, and you know, people care. We're a part of your family. Filmmaking, you become a family. That's why I use that as a source to give people life skills and social skills. But I just want to be a part of this, and it was great being on this panel with all of you guys. I've learned so much today. Thank
Would
you.
you just give them a big hand?
Hello. Hello,
On a
everyone.
scale of 1 to 10, this panel was
Hello?
a 12. A wonderful panel. I really, really appreciate them all. Purnell, George Wendt, Caroline Deutsch, Ellen Cookman, Joey Travolta, Officer Deanna Grant, Lisa Kleinbub, and of course, Sheridan Nicolau. All of you were perfect. When we said we had an expert panel, we weren't joking. You were. And we thank you. We appreciate you.
Oh, online real quick?
Excuse me.
Oh.
Online questions.
Oh, we do have a question. Okay. Hold up a microphone. We have a question online for our panel. Thank you for catching that. You have to talk into the microphone. Somebody has to hold up the microphone to her.
Sorry, you guys.
That's okay, Bev. Hold up the yellow microphone.
Okay, here we go. My son is in a social cognitive.
Bev, hold it up to her mouth.
Oh my God. Better? Can you guys hear me?
Better.
Okay. First question. My son is in a social cognitive program, and between it taking a few years, IEP meetings, etc., finding his placement and COVID school year, are there fun summer resources to help him catch up?
Lisa, how's that sound? Sheridan, how's that sound?
That's an interesting question. Now, I know if it's school district kinds of issues that there may be some funds through school districts, but for regional centers, we would want to look at for that individual, what did they need to get to a place that was what they wanted to be doing? How we might have to do additional training because that person didn't have the time to develop independent living skills, for instance. Or there may have been some backslides with some challenging behavior. So how can we bring that up in time with maybe some extra resources because of those things that happened during COVID? You know, that's how I would address that, because unfortunately, you can't really catch up. You have to find out where you are now and start addressing things now in the best possible way.
Interesting. Caroline?
I was just going to say, from a school district perspective, speaking with the IEP team and developing goals around current level of functioning and looking at what can the team do in terms of resources through the IEP to help address the need.
Okay.
Yeah, just remember that the IEP, or in the case of Regional Center, the IPP, or if we're talking about the little ones, the IFSPs, right, all the acronyms, those are your contracts. There's power in those documents. You want to make sure they are up to date. You want to make sure that they are inclusive of that person's needs, their gifts, their skills, the challenges, so that you can do something with them. And that's in addition to other types of, let's say, generic or community-based resources or programs that also may be helpful. Yeah.
And there's a follow-up to that online question? There's a few more questions. Oh, okay, go right ahead.
Okay, question number 2 is, can Regional Center help pay for the estate planning for my family?
That's an interesting question. That is not something that we have done in the past, and it's not something that we see as our regional center in our policies as something that we would fund, because generally people doing estate planning have some resources to do that they would use for all their family members. So that's why we wouldn't fund it for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
What is the best way to deal with or handle your child on the spectrum going through puberty? It comes with so much mood swings, meltdowns, more than normally.
Do we know about
Where's
that?
the BCBA? Yeah.
I guess what I can say is, from a behaviorist perspective, first of all, having compassion and understanding what they're going through and why they're going through the mood changes that they're going through. Thinking about things like social stories, teaching behaviors and reteaching, and thinking about that repetition of information. So people talked a little bit about, in terms of law enforcement, teaching interactions with police, teaching interactions with first responders. Same thing can happen with teaching hormonal changes and changes around the body and all those kinds of things. We do deal with that as behaviorists sometimes, in just teaching how to become an adult and the physical changes that come along with that. And that's mostly what we use, is social stories, reteaching, teaching again, and normalizing it, I guess, not being embarrassed to discuss those things with the family and the person who's going through that.
Thank you. Were you going to say something, Lisa?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right, you're staying out of that one. Only because we've run out of time. Yes. I want to thank our online guests for being a big part of this as well. And we thank you for those questions. Thank you for your questions. And muchos gracias to our panel, our expert panel. Thank you so much. And our audience. We're going to take a break. When we come back, you'll get to meet some of our families who are here, who have things to tell you. But keep in mind also, we'll have a drawing after the break. Someone's going to the islands, we hope. So thank you, and we'll be right back.
Like a light shining bright in the darkest tunnel, like a smile that can brighten any day. Never stopping, we leap over each hurdle, overcoming whatever comes our way. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger, stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release our power. Never gonna give up. And we're not backing down. We'll go through the fire. We'll come on shining, come on shining. We are stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release our power. Never gonna give up. And we're not backing down. We'll go through the fire. We'll come on shining, come on shining. We are stronger than you know. We are stronger than you know. 'Cause we are like a fire. We'll show every underestimate the love we'll show. 'Cause we are stronger. We are stronger than you know. We are like a fire. We'll show every underestimate the love we'll show. 'Cause we are stronger than you know. Like a light shining bright in the darkest tunnel, like a smile that can brighten any day. Never stopping, we leap over each hurdle, overcoming whatever comes our way. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger, stronger than you know. I know we had some crazy nights, crazy. There were times when you cried yourself to sleep. But I need you to know I'll be alright. 'Cause the prayers that you prayed have strengthened me. Yeah. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger, stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release Like a light shining bright in the darkest tunnel, like a smile that can brighten any day. Never stopping, we leap over each hurdle, overcoming whatever comes our way. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. Oh, we are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger than you know. I know we had some crazy nights, crazy. There were times when you cried yourself to sleep, but I need you to know I'll be alright. 'Cause the prayers that you prayed have strengthened me. Yeah. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release our power now. Never gonna give up, and we're not backing down. We'll go through the fire, but we'll come on shining, come on shining. We are stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release our power now. Never gonna give up, and we're not backing down. We'll go through the fire, but we'll come on shining, come on shining. We are stronger than you know. 'Cause we are stronger than you know. 'Cause we are like a fire. We don't show every underestimate the love we'll show. 'Cause we are stronger. We are stronger than you know. We are like a fire. We don't show ever underestimate the love we'll show. 'Cause we are stronger than you know. Like a light shining bright in the darkest tunnel, like a smile that can brighten any day. Never stopping, we leap over each hurdle, overcoming whatever comes our way. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a flood. Oh, we are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger than you know. I know we had some crazy nights, crazy. There were times when you cried yourself to sleep, but I need you to know I'll be alright. 'Cause the prayers that you prayed have strengthened me. than a fly. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger, stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release our power. Never gonna give up. And we're not backing down. We'll go through the fire, but we'll come on shining, come on shining. We are stronger than you know. Never gonna quit. We release our power. Never gonna give up. And we're not backing down. We'll go through the fire, but we'll come on shining, come on shining. We are stronger than you know. 'Cause we are stronger than you know. 'Cause we are like a fire. We'll show everyone underestimate the love we'll show. 'Cause we are stronger. We are stronger than you know. We are like a fire. We'll show everyone underestimate the love we'll show. 'Cause we are stronger than you know. Like a light shining bright in the darkest tunnel. Like a smile that can brighten any day. Never stopping, we leap over each hurdle. Overcoming whatever comes our way. Gentle as the ocean breeze. Faster than a flight. We are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. Hey, stronger than you know. We are stronger than you know. I know we had some crazy nights, crazy. There were times when you cried yourself to sleep. But I need you to know I'll be alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We are back after our break. And I appreciate you so much for being here in the theater here at Cisco and online around the country, around the world. Thank you for being a part of this Autism Forum Conference put together by Joshua's Gift and so many good people. The first part of our session with the experts was excellent. Now we're getting ready for the second part, and I still want you to be involved with your questions, your comments, be a part of it. Anyway, I'm Dave Clark, and I thank you. And I'm going to call on my next panel, our families, our individuals, to come on stage now. The next panel, start walking towards the stage now and take your seats. Give them a good welcome. Find a seat, make yourself comfortable. Don't go, there you go, Nicole. Come on up, make yourself comfortable. Now, I wanted Purnell and I wanted MISPA to be here because we did want to give away, we're giving away a wonderful trip to the Caribbean for our families. And I needed some helpers here, but they're not here right now. But just so you know, we have a raffle drawing, and we're going to be reaching inside here for the winner. Just so you see it, it's right here. So, oh, there, Purnell, you're here. Would you like to draw it now?
Your call.
Don't go anywhere, because Purnell is going to draw the winner.
All right, let's
Yes.
get it up first. Are you going to give it a good spin there?
Okay. It's not closed, but it will be. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna risk this, but you do see it turning.
All right, let's.
I think that may be a sign, you said.
All right, let's get that back in there.
Put it back in there? Yeah. Okay.
All right, perfect.
There's still a chance you could be going, this is a family of 4, to the Caribbean. Purnell?
All right, let's see. Fiona Misquita? Did I get it right? Fiona?
There she is. Would you stand up? Please, stand up. Yes, Fiona, it's you. Come on over. You island girl, you. Congratulations. She's going to the islands with her family. Thank you for being our winner. We appreciate it. And we will tell you more about what's involved.
Yes.
Purnell will tell you everything about it, but see you in the islands.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Fiona.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, that was worth taking a brief break before we meet our wonderful family panel here. And I'm going to introduce them to you. I'm so glad they're here. First, Jill Escher.
Hiding.
Right there, Jill. Jill is the president and the National Council on Severe Autism.
Correct.
I really want to hear what you have to say, Jill. I want to hear what everyone has to say, but thank you, Jill. Karen Fessel, founder, executive director, Mental Health and Autism Insurance Project. Here's a brilliant man right here. This is Jason Matthews, the president and CEO, Matthews Financial and Insurance Solutions, Gibson Monroe Wealth Advisors, and he pops up on KTVU quite a bit, KTVU TV. Good to see you. Nolan Kerman. I know it's you. Nolan knows about autism. You live with autism.
Yes, I do. That's correct.
That's right. And I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nolan.
As am I.
I know. Thank you. Luis Antonio Romero. Yes, I'm calling you, Luis. Raise your hand, Luis. That's Luis. Thank you. Down on the end, she's a mom. She's a gifted employee of Cisco, Meraki. She's a network support engineer. Nicole Sane. Nicole, thank you. I didn't leave you out, did I?
No, you introduced me.
I did. I got you. Thank you all for being here. The family. The family. The family. I'm going to start with Jill. Severe autism. Because I live with that.
Yeah.
It's personal. It pushes that button, gets down to what I call the white meat. It's very personal. Your organization, where is it? What is it? What do you do?
Yeah, well, I'm the parent of 2 children who have nonverbal and what most people would consider severe autism. My daughter Sophie's almost 17 and my son Johnny is 24, and they live here in San Jose. And National Council on Severe Autism was founded in 2019 to really address that population of autism that involves minimal to no language, that struggle very much with daily living skills and have pretty profound functional impairments, and people who generally need 24/7 supervision and care. And as we know, autism's a very big spectrum. There's a ton of heterogeneity in the spectrum. And what we're trying to do is really advocate and support that population where the impairments are quite a bit more than you might find in other segments.
Is it difficult doing what you do, working with that population? I
get calls of crisis, extreme distress, really almost in unfathomably difficult situations almost every day. And it is difficult because you're dealing with families who are facing situations that most people couldn't even conceive of. And where the system is in crisis, and we are not coming up with solutions fast enough for people. And the crisis exists on every level, from the availability of therapeutics to inpatient programs, to education, to residential programs, to housing, to day programs, everything. The crisis exists across the board for our population. And it's hard because it's so big, it's overwhelming, and we feel a little powerless at times. But I think the best that we can do is, tell our stories.
Yeah.
It's like what Ms. is setting up today, right? Tell our stories. Share the reality. Tell people what's going on. I mean, we now have almost 3% of all children in the U.S. diagnosed with autism. And that number is not going down. It's been steadily increasing. And California's been increasing 11% in the regional center system every year, year over year. And you see a curve like that. And it doesn't receive the attention that it really deserves. And so that's one role that we really can play.
Okay, thank you, Jill. I'm going to go to Jason next. But keep in mind, if you have any questions or comments and you online, feel free to get your question, comment ready. We will be able to transmit it. And our callers, the person's handling that, you can just holler out to me. I mean, holler out to me. Don't whisper. And we'll get to you as quickly as we can. Jason Matthews, you're a financial genius, but you also live with autism. Tell me about that.
So I've been doing financial advising since 2004, so 19 years. And then where we do tax strategy, retirement planning. But then my son, when he was 18 years old, right before I got married to my wife, a week beforehand, he got diagnosed on the spectrum. And oftentimes at that time, it was running, scrambling. I coached sports throughout the years, and I was just trying to gather all this information. So I asked one of the parents who I know who had a child on the spectrum about what I should be doing. And then I always started thinking about, if something happens to me, how can I make sure that my wife or other child and my son on the spectrum will be okay? And I got really dialed in and really started understanding all the resources that are around, government programs, and how to make sure everything was correct, everything's structured and planned accordingly. So if something happens to me, either I get disabled or I pass away, or anything happens in life, that everybody's be taken care of. And so we really got into special needs planning as well, not just the regular mom, dad, pops financial plan, but really got diving deep into that specialty.
Let me ask you a quick question. As a dad, as a Black father, how do you deal with being the father of a child who's autistic? There are many men that can't handle it. It's a real thing. But how do you handle it?
You're the first person ever asked me that question.
I figured that. All right, it's okay. See, I've cried those same tears. You know what I mean? I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. See, when I was on television in Los Angeles, we created a program that we pulled together people who were quote unquote well-known, who were parents of children with autism. I've traveled around with Shaka Khan, who has a grandson who's autistic. And we were putting a face that you're not alone. Look at us. So I get that. I get that. And anyone who says they haven't cried from time to time, what do you do when you don't know what to do? You're wrong. We know it. I see in the online, Shanna and Joe Johnson, you're back in Ohio, aren't you?
Yes.
I see. How you doing? It's good to see you. We talked a little while ago.
See you, Dave.
Yes, it's great to see you. You're the parents of a son who has been through many things, and Joe, you've cried a few tears, haven't you?
Yeah, say the least.
Yeah.
Number.
Yeah, I know. And why, Joe? What was it like for you back there in the Midwest?
Midwest and, gateway to the South is very different from the West Coast. There's a lot more judgment. There's a lot more pressure on masculinity, being a man, and labels stick. So I fought to never allow my sons to never be identified by a label. I've always told them that these labels aren't for you, they're for everybody else, so they can learn how to talk to you appropriately. And I've just always wanted to treat them as the young men that they are and show them love, compassion, teach them faith, show them what I'm interested in, hunting, fishing, sports, and, just to give them the courage to be themselves and to never allow society to pigeonhole them to what they might think this autism is. I told him, I said, autism is for you, it's you're extra awesome. And regular mortals don't know what that means. So just continue to be.
You tell them, Joe. You tell. And Shanna, you're a huge part of this team. How has your life been affected with your sons?
So my career path took a very different journey than I would have expected. When I came out of college, I thought I was going to rule the world. I was going to be the CEO or the president of my own company. And then my kids were both diagnosed on the spectrum. And what that meant was school didn't come easily. Sports didn't come easily. Making friends didn't come easily. And so Joe and I intentionally made decisions about how we were going to structure our life so that we could put them first and make sure that they were most successful. So I spent a lot of time fighting with schools and telling them that they were wrong, that my kids needed support, even though it didn't maybe look like they needed support.
It didn't fit their criteria, so we changed it.
Right. So we had to carve out our own path with schools and for both of them. And that meant that I also decided to just be transparent and vulnerable and share the story, because it's hard when you feel alone, when you're going through the diagnosis, when you're fighting with the schools, when your kids are being picked on, when they feel like they're not good enough. So luckily, I've got Joe here to back me up and pick me up when things feel hard.
We picked each other up a lot.
Yeah.
It's it made the nice thing about this is I'd heard so many stories about having special needs children are tough on marriages. It's the exact opposite for us. It just concreted the fact that we were right for each other, and we knew that we would stop at nothing until our children got everything that they are entitled to as human beings.
I hear you. Bravo. Bravo. You know, when we talked a little while ago, there are some things you are really happy about now, progress that have been made. Tell me about that, Joe.
Well, both boys, I told them that life is tough and no one owes them anything, that they owe it to themselves. So they listened. It was amazing. They both have done well in school and sports. Patrick graduated. He wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do, so helped him find a job. He excelled at it. He saved all of his money, and he put himself through driving school and bought his own car. and he's just gained this much independence. It's amazing to see what that little bit of independence that most of us take for granted has really done for him. It's really opened up his shell. He's really shown what just an exceptional young man he is. He coaches his middle school's track team now. He's the head distance coach, and he's just flourishing. Our youngest son, he graduates in May, and school has not been so good for him like it was his brother. So I talked to him about trades. He will be graduating in May, and he's an electrician. He has a job at Ohio Valley here, and he's excited. I've given him my truck to drive until he can buy his own, and he's shown responsibility, and they're just exceptional young men. It's been the best reward of this is to see that they're not only good humans, but they're responsible. And that fear that I've had of what am I going to do for them, they're doing for themselves. And they've done it with such tenacity and ferocity. It's good to see as a father.
Joe and Shanna, if you make me cry, I'm going to get you for that. What a great story. I'm just claiming great things for your sons and for the two of you. I appreciate your comments very, very much. And I'm going to go to my friend Luis Antonio Romero. This young man, wherever you see him, it makes you want to smile because he's a good person. He's going to do great things, and you want to be around him. Luis, you're diagnosed autistic. What does that feel like to you?
I remember that because growing up, that I did things that were, I wouldn't say unusual, but that were a little different that people did. And ever since that, my parents first told me that I'm autistic. It was sad in the beginning, just for me. But there are some things that I overcome, and I know that we're all born different, and we can still become better people no matter what. And
go ahead, Luis.
And I actually got special message to those who are on the spectrum. I'm also here to talk about the rights to individuals with autism. Some people in other states rather use discrimination against people with autism because of the way they look or sound. There was once a kid walking to school who ran into a group of teens and bullied him because he was different. Many years ago and today, people with autism are still being mistreated by other people, sadly. But I hope one day people can create laws that can protect people with autism and treat them equal, and won't treat them different because they are autistic, and just accept them as a human being. And secondly, educational and career opportunities. Job and school opportunities that enable an autistic person to use their talents. Today, parents and teachers are putting some kids with autism in special education programs. But I hope that one day those programs in every state can be better by focusing on what goals the kid with autism needs to get the opportunities they want. Hope and social justice and acceptance of those with autism. Some people with autism sometimes have a little trouble communicating to tell others what different abilities they have. Other people rather just judge them and treat them different. But I hope that one day we can get an education for society in order to understand to those with autism.
So now you're going to take my job on TV. I get it, Luis. It's okay. You deserve it. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. And it's interesting, you think, I don't know if you knew this, that Albert Einstein was diagnosed autistic. He didn't speak until he was 4 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here to tell you. See, this is Nolan Kermit. Nolan, that is true. He did not speak until he was 4 years old. Albert Einstein.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, you're a gifted man as well. How does autism feel to you?
It doesn't feel bad to me. I don't have a problem with it. I just do what I'm capable, and I know I'm capable of many stuffs, and I've done it. So, I've accomplished a lot of things in my life.
Tell me about some. Tell me one or two that you've accomplished.
Well, I graduated from college last year with the EBC with an associate's degree.
Bravo.
Yeah.
What else are you proud of?
Oh, even when I was bullied a lot as a kid, I didn't let it get to me, and I said, I'm still determined. I don't care what people say. They're not going to stop me. And I did it.
I'm proud of you, Nolan.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do still?
Yes, well, my degree is in business information systems analysis, so I'm trying to figure out something in IT, like the data entry for a job.
Listen to that. There's an employer out there hearing that. Congratulations.
Yeah.
On
thank you.
credit. Going to congratulate Karen Fessel, founder, executive director, Mental Health and Autism Insurance Project. What is that project?
Okay. We help families that are trying to get treatments for their children, and they're having difficulty getting their insurance to step up. And health insurance, often they don't. They can play games with you, especially when you're in crisis and trying to get the services that your kids need. Initially, we were focused around trying to get to help families get behavioral services, and it was really hard. We worked to get the law passed in California, and it became a little bit easier.
Bravo.
And we still help families. There's not enough providers now. That's a big problem. There's a shortage of providers. And then we also work with families that are struggling with mental health issues. Their kids are struggling with mental health issues. And we help them get some of the treatments they need. But the insurance companies don't just roll over.
No.
And they make it hard. And so we try to bridge that gap so that families, especially things like residential treatment, they're enormously expensive. And sometimes that's what our kids need. It just depends on the kid. And so, so that's a lot of what we do is we write appeals when they get denied, and we go to the state when we're having trouble, and we'll speak up, and we'll make sure that the laws are in place, and so we fight for kids.
And you let families know they're not alone.
Well,
it's a fight.
True. It is a fight, yes. And you feel alone.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
You do. I remember when my son was first diagnosed autistic, the insurance company was telling me, well, we don't cover those prescriptions, those medications.
Right.
And he was having seizures at the same time. And you're standing there, I figure, wait a minute, I'm the guy from TV. You can't be saying, no, we don't. So that bill you have in your hand, you just go ahead and figure out how to pay it.
Right.
And that's the way it was for me and for many people, and why they would reach out to you, Karen.
They sure can. One of the things, when my son was, it took like 4 years from the time they knew that something was different until somebody would give him a label of putting him on the autism spectrum. And when we got that label, we were able to get more services. But this was back in the mid-90s, and doctors were reluctant to give that diagnosis unless they were really, really certain. And so the world has changed a lot in the last 20 some odd years.
Yeah. Nicole's saying, I promise I will not make you cry.
Oh, I got my tears out.
No, you're okay. If you want to, you can, but you're a mom, a working mom, and you have a daughter who you love and care the world about. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. So definitely want to state that I'm a mom of 3. I have a teenage son, huge age gap, 15, and then I have 5-year-old twins. So my daughter, she was diagnosed with autism, and I will say that I'm thankful with having an observative eye, fortunate to the fact of her having her twin brother, noticing differences in their developmental stages at roughly 4 months, which triggered me at the time with my then husband to go ahead and get her further evaluated. It was then that I realized that she was born with additional chromosomes and was aware that due to the amount of chromosomes that she had additionally compared to those that are typical, that her autism spectrum may be severe. So I really had to brace myself for that. In addition to just how do I navigate these challenges as time progressed. Again, she's 5 now, but being a mom of tech, a network engineer, and being around a lot of colleagues who they're a lot younger than me, they don't have kids, they definitely don't have children that are not neurotypical. And how do I embrace that as well as continue to push forward, because I was going through my own personal changes and I'm now divorced. So I would say that Cisco Meraki has been very supportive of me, just being able to speak with leadership and embrace those changes. I was very proactive too, because I definitely want to state that as much as we love our kids and as we are wanting to make sure we support our kids that may have differences, the first thing we have to do is support ourselves. So it was such a lonely road, because as I started to really place my mental health as first priority, because I knew I had to give that to myself first, because how could I pour into my children if my own cup is empty? And as I started to do that, life has a funny way, or I'll say God has a way of removing people from your lives where you may have thought that they would be there for you and they aren't. So I stand alone today. When I say alone, I mean in the sense of as I sought therapy for myself and realized a lot of toxic behaviors from my own family, I had to remove everyone. So I have no parent system. This is me who just day in and day out, I'm navigating and being the advocate for my daughter, and happy to say that she is receiving 2 different school services. Of course, we have her traditional school system because I'm a Chicagoan, but she also has a therapeutic school that she attends that allows her to receive every single therapy that is available in one center. But that is a challenge to navigate, juggling, transporting her, and knowing that my ex-husband doesn't have the flexibility that I do, and still being active within my role.
Wow, that's a lot. And not that you don't already know that, but how did all of this affect you as a woman?
It was definitely a lot of why God moments, but I'm the type of person where I've always felt that everything happens for a reason. And to answer your question now, what I recognize is that what I didn't know then is that my journey is actually meant to be great and big. So some things are going to be placed on me that is meant to define me. One thing I can say that's come out of this is, as I have really focused on myself, focused on, how do I make sure that I'm balancing out the love with her 2 brothers that absolutely need it. And so that there's no competition, and I'm speaking in each of their languages. I mean, I have a 15-year-old. We have the hormones. How do I balance that out? How do I make sure that her twin brother he's not now trying to communicate in ways that she communicates, but he's able to just be as vocal, and he's a dynamic personality within himself, and I love it. But just to sum it up, it caused me to actually go down another path. I actually have a company, it's called Transcend Wellness. And Transcend Wellness is producing health and personal care products. And one of the first personal care products that we're coming out with is a non-fluoride toothpaste called Talk. And why it's non-fluoride is because fluoride does impact our mental health, our pineal gland, and especially for those who have neurological disorders. So just me navigating each of the various obstacles I've had to continuously overcome, it has allowed me to be able to provide products that better fits my family. You know, luckily my daughter, she hasn't had any seizures. I've had to be very mindful of what I say and what I think for her, because I've had doctors always say, oh, I'm just so sorry. And I say, don't tell me sorry. There's no reason to say sorry. You know, my daughter is going to be exceptional, and she is, and very intuitive. So I'll leave it at that.
She comes from good stock. Thank you, Nicole. And I want to say directly to the members of our audience, if you have any questions or comments, think about them and shout them out to me. We'll get to them. And of course, our online family as well. Shanna and Joe, way back in the Midwest, let me ask you, you heard what Nicole just said. How did her words strike you, and did it sound familiar?
It did. I had to look away because I started to cry, and I was feeling for you, Nicole, that loneliness as you're navigating that. It's hard. We're lucky in that while we struggled with the diagnosis at first and our families were like, no, your kids are fine. When I started handing out the book that was like, you know, read this, my kid's on the spectrum, I need you to hear me and understand. We got lucky, and we have a really great family support system, but it's lonely. And so I think the thing that I most want people to understand as they're listening is you're not alone, because there are people like Nicole and Joe and I and the others that have been participating on the panel. We've been in your shoes. We've been fighting your fight. We've fought with the schools. We've heard people say your kids are fine, or, oh, I'm so sorry. And you're right, there is no reason to be sorry, because our kids are amazing. Our kids are going to be successful. They might take a different path than, you know, the everyone else, but it will be okay.
And when you said earlier, when you said you had those moments of why me, God, I was reminded multiple times by my grandfather, who's a great man to me, and my mother, as God recognizes strength. So you must be of superhero powers to take this on.
Yes,
so congratulations to you for having the courage to stand up and tell the world, no, I will not allow my child to be treated differently. So good for you. You're not alone. None of us will never be alone.
No.
Faith is there.
Well said. Well said. That's right, Nicole. I'm going to shift gears again. I'm going to go to Jason Matthews again and ask you, I was so busy trying to keep my son alive. We used to live in intensive care. I used to get off TV and drive to the UCLA Medical Center where my son was in intensive care. He lived there. They couldn't stop his seizures. And so they had to monitor him. And I did that day after day. I would be out on the story, I'll just deviate for just a moment, out on stories. And a police officer would come up and say, hey, remember me? The firefighters, we were at your house. Yet another emergency. I lived that way. And many of us have similar stories. But Jason, I wanted to ask you, I was so busy just tap dancing, just trying to keep, what should families, from a financial standpoint, what should they do first to protect their child, their family, in the midst of all of this?
Good question. So I said the first thing you need to do is always just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And breathe, right? I feel like oftentimes we get emotional, we get rattled, and we don't think it out. And after that, I always say, then let's reverse engineer how we want everything to look like. Because once we reverse engineer everything it looks like, then we can design and paint a picture and put everything in place for that. So when we say that, it's saying is, hey, what's the lifestyle we want what's the dreams we want our kids to have? right? And then at that point, what do we need as parents to fulfill that? What resources do we need? What do we need to do financially wise? How does it look like? And what are the challenges from it? So we do our own personal SWOT analysis, right? If you know business, our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, right?
Yeah.
Since we're at Cisco, everybody knows it. And so we do those things, and then after that, once we do that, then we can go to the next steps on. But I say that's the first thing, is just really take a deep breath, do a SWOT analysis of what your dreams are, and then in the challenges in everything that goes into place with that, then you go forward from there.
All right, that's a good word. Nolan.
Yeah, what's up? What were we saying?
That's okay. I'm just, you and me just talking. So, do you want to get married?
I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it one day. I'll have to figure it out.
I didn't say that. Do you want to drive a car?
I don't know. Probably not right. No, I don't think so, because I don't know if I could focus on the wheel constantly. I just don't think it would work for me. So
I want to really get to know, what is it that, and I know there are many, many good things in your life, and I'm happy about that. What scares you?
I don't really have too much fear, actually. So.
Okay. Good. That's good too.
Except for when it comes to employment a little bit sometimes. That's it.
Okay. All right. How does that strike you, his comments and some of the things you've seen through your organization with severe autism? When he makes comments, his descriptions.
I'm not sure.
And I'm not trying to diagnose. No, and that's, the question is, I want to get an idea. Now, I would consider my son severely autistic. Right. And I'm trying to paint a picture for our audience here and out there. What a severely autistic person looks like, what they do, and things like that. And I want to size it up with the life I've lived with.
Well, I mean, I could talk about my kids.
Yeah.
When I give examples that are close to me. So my son, Johnny, he's 24, and again, he's nonverbal and very cognitively limited. And he's an interesting guy. He's very handsome. He's very manly and muscular, and he's a great kid. We love him dearly. He has almost no ability to care for himself and almost no ability to engage in abstraction such that he would kind of understand anything but the most basic statements. And I know that there's a lot of kind of feel-goodism, a lot of kind of sugarcoating autism. I'm just telling you like it is, you know? And we love him very much. We love him for who he is.
Yeah.
But there's not a locked super genius inside my son. He has an absolute genius for taking apart iPods.
Oh, really?
and syncing up. You can give him like 7 or 8 iPhones, and he'll be able to sync them all up to the same song. I mean, like he has certain amazing abilities. But, you know, he's lived in crisis, you know, most of his life. He's had very severe behaviors. He's had self-injury. He's had aggression. We would buy new furniture for his house. Sometimes, I am not kidding, on a weekly basis because of the amount of damage. We had to install all kinds of fancy gates and locks to make sure that he didn't, you know, run out into the street and into traffic. I mean, it's not an easy picture. And my daughter, on the other hand, who is also nonverbal, autistic, she is Miss Easy Peasy Queasy. I mean, she could sit here, if I brought her, she'd be sitting there right now. She wouldn't understand what was going on, I believe. And she might run onto the stage and she might be yelping a little bit. But she's very, what our friend Fada called portable autism. She's very portable. And I take her everywhere, and she skis, and she goes to the beach, and she'll ice skate. It doesn't matter. So it's interesting. So even within this realm of severe autism, I have 2 incredibly different kids, and we see like the diversity is almost unfathomably huge. They're all different, and some individuals really benefit from treatment. For example, pharmaceutical treatment or behavioral treatment. Others really, really don't and need much more help.
It's very interesting. thought of my own stories. Let me just ask you, your family members, siblings or other members of your family, how do they react, adjust, deal with your family's autism?
Interesting question. I have a husband who is incredibly accepting of them and incredibly supportive of our kids. They do have an older brother, and I think, I don't want to put too many words in his mouth. I think he was overwhelmed, just overwhelmed, especially with his younger brother. And by the way, we didn't sleep for 20 years. I should also add that.
I hear you.
We didn't sleep for 20 years.
I
and
hear
it
you.
was hard and traumatic.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say this about my older son. He doesn't live in California anymore. He's like, bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. I'm taking off. And I completely respect his decisions.
Yeah.
But inevitably, as was pointed out in the previous panel, we are temporary. And there's an expiration date on us. We are going to die. And a lot of responsibility and care is going to transfer to this sibling generation. And again, that's something we aren't talking enough about. And something the siblings, frankly, often do not want to deal with. Yeah.
I was one of them. I did not want to deal with it, didn't want to think about it, but it's true. Karen, you've encountered that as well.
Yeah, I have a daughter as well, and she has mixed feelings about it. And my son lives independently, and so he does a lot on his own, which is great. And he drives, he has a job, but. You know, and sometimes I he wanted to go out on a date. I said, well, ask your sister what to wear. And so there's certain things that she's willing to slowly kind of, but I'm trying to plant the seed very gradually. I don't want her to feel burdened, but I want her to want to include him. And I think she will. And by that, I mean overseeing things. And she's spunky like me. And so she, if she sees injustice, she'll be, when the term Karen, the name Karen now has this rap, and she loved that I was a Karen, and she's a Karen too. So, I know she'll fight for him. Yeah. So.
Nicole, how hard will you fight for your child?
1,000%. By any means. I'm still thinking about what you've asked others when it comes to when it's my time to leave and what will happen. And I'll just say out loud, I'm just praying that her siblings would naturally want to be supportive of her. So to fight for my child, fight for my children in any way, shape, or form that I need to. The one thing I can say is that, so I'm a twin. I have a twin brother. I have an older brother. So one thing that was very significant to me, which is why I said, why God, is because I said, wow, it looks like I'm repeating, what lesson are you wanting me to learn through my family? Because I have an older son, and then I have a twin sister and brother. And the way I was raised, we didn't have a significant relationship. So it was very important for me to ensure that my children knew how to respect each other, how to love one another, how to be there together. And then to have a daughter who's high on the spectrum, she's not talking. She's walking now, but it's very imbalanced. But I'm just so thankful that even if it is like a little bowling ball, it's cute at times, she's still walking. And she has her twin brother who's he opens my door no matter what. I've never had to teach him this. And he's like, okay, Mommy, let me help you. Oh, Lauren, here you are. Oh, he'll say, hey, what's going on with my sister? So to know that naturally he is so protective is amazing. Now, as far as my oldest son, he was the only child for a very long time. So it is an adjustment for him. And it's one of those things where I want to have those talks, but not right now. Like what I'm doing is really maximizing giving him alone time
Yeah.
so that he could have that individualized attention, of course, but then to slowly kind of bring that up, because I would love for everyone to be as supportive as possible with my daughter. But yes, each of my kids, I know for a fact, they know that I will defend them. I'm a very fair person. So whether it's the 5-year-old messing with the 15-year-old and vice versa, they know I'm going to take up for, no, 5-year-old, you're in the wrong, say sorry. So, yes.
Okay, just wanted to answer that. Louise, let me ask you a question. Every time I see you surrounded by love. I know she loves you, and you know she loves you, don't you? Tell me about how that feels.
My mom and I are best friends. She's been there for me, and when she understands how I feel, and my dad too. And both of my parents, they mean a lot to me, and I think they were, as all parents are, there were ups and downs times with, but like, I know that my mom, she's a strong lady, and don't cry. And just know that, Mom, that I'll be all right.
You will be.
You see? See what you did? Yes, Louise. Joe and Shanna, let me ask you again. Do you know that your sons know how much you've done for them?
Yes. Yes, they do. Patrick had an interview with the, what was it recently for college? The ODD, Ohio Developmental Disabilities. And I'd overheard him say something like, if I had to jump off a cliff, I know my parents would jump before me to make sure it was safe. So.
Actually, I asked Patrick for his perspective on, you've got two parents and what's it like? What would you share? And he said, he shared that the jumping off the cliff, but he also said, I know that you guys are going to push me. You're going to push me hard. You're going to push me out of my comfort zone. I know there have been times when I've been kicking and screaming and you've forced me to do the things that I didn't want to do anyways. And just remind everyone that it's worth all the blood, sweat, tears, pain in the end.
20 years of sleepless nights, days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that you'll be there and fight for me, whatever needs to happen. So I think our younger son would probably say the same, because we regularly I'm every teacher's worst nightmare, because I'm calling them every day, or I'm emailing them every day and saying, I need you to get my kid, like you have to see him.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe he hasn't turned in 20 assignments, but let's help him figure this out. So I'm sure they would both say that, yes, we've got their backs.
You know, and they did something, not just having my kids, but, our son Patrick, he went to a school for kids on the spectrum and other things, and getting to meet all these other kids, they did a huge service for me. I've always tried to teach my boys how to be strong, how to be tough, all those things. And by doing that, they showed me that empathy and compassion and sensitivity and these things were very much essential. So they really showed me how to be accepting and loving and non-judgmental, and how to feel inclusive with everyone and everything. They've done more for me than I feel like I've done for them.
I hear you, Joe and Shanna. I hear you. And I think about my own son who does not speak, And I often tell people, as much as I can, God teaches me through a young man who doesn't speak. All the time. All the time. I thank you guys for your comments. I do want to allow a chance for questions that you can have answered by our family panel. Does anyone have a question in the audience or at home, online? Let's do the in the audience first.
Okay. So I have one question for Jill, and then I have a second question, different question for Karen. Does it matter which order?
No, go right
Okay.
ahead.
All right. So for Jill, my son, he'll be 22. Very similar to your 24-year-old. So he's on the spectrum. He's nonverbal. He has epilepsy. He's been nonverbal his entire life. And so, because the apraxia is very severe. And so, but he doesn't like to use his speech generating device. And in 3 or 4 months back, we started introducing the same Protocol on his Apple Watch, which he doesn't like to use that either. He really wants you to just kind of read his mind, read his gestures and his grunts and interpret all that. Right, and so I would love more than anything else to know what his thoughts are.
I know.
So do you know of any families who their autistic kid when and maybe most of their lives or however many years in their lives, and then all of a sudden they have that that awakening, they say, where he starts to speak, where they can kind of relate to and express how it's been like for them to have all those years of not being able to verbalize and be understood easily by others.
Yeah, well, that's such a great question. Yeah, well, I think all of us really wish we can get into the heads of our kids, I do everything, especially with my daughter, and I really wish I could see the world through her eyes. And of course we can't really do that with anybody. Yeah. But after living with my kids for this long, you can kind of figure out what's important to them. You can kind of figure, you don't need language necessarily to see what's important in their life or to see their emotions. Both of my kids are highly emotional and they react. They're like, they have radar on people, right? You can see who they like, who they don't like. You can really tell. Now, there is a phenomenon that I believe is almost entirely fictitious. Of these miracle stories of, later in life, oh, my kid learned to type and my kid learned to, to write or to point or whatever. There are many books on the shelves of your local library, with these kind of miracle stories. And there are documentary films. One just came out about this. I am by nature a very data-based, kind of science-based skeptic about things. And there has yet to be actual validation for these stories. But we crave these stories. We love these stories. I would love nothing more than my son, like you were talking about having this conversation. Yeah. I would give anything, right, for this to happen with my son. But I'm also kind of level-headed, and I'm like, well, it's not likely to happen. So, feel free to peruse, the literature that's out there on this, but do it with a huge, dose of skepticism.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, as much as everybody keeps pounding the parents for, what do you think he likes, what his dreams and hopes are, it's like, I really can't answer that. I wish he could, but he can't, right? And I actually get a little tired of having to speak for him because I don't want to be the one to interpret him, even though I can't, right? I really want him to be the voice, but I just don't know how to get that voice out of him.
Be careful, because you also don't want people faking his voice, and that has happened not infrequently, and that is also very scary.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. So I was just wondering if there's any stories out there where they've had that awakening, and all of a sudden they're saying, "Well, this is what it's been like all this time," right?
And you have a second question.
I did. Yes, for Karen. So as you may know, so Medi-Cal has and they say it turns out it's a federal limitation. So Medi-Cal for ABA treatment, they have an age out. So age 21, when the patient, even though
I know.
there's,
It's terrible.
yeah, there's a strong medical necessity, that the doctors are all in supportive of, and even, service providers for the ABA home programs.
If you can get him on a private plan, that's what you should do. It's so unfair, and
Yeah,
it's an
it is.
example of politics and how the wealthy get to, and we've talked about trying to introduce a bill in California legislature about this, and I think that it would take a lot of energy. I don't think it's impossible. But
Yeah, so I dug into this, and I took it to a few levels, and starting with, so his Medi-Cal plan is administered through Kaiser. And so when I got the hint that before, this was the year, he turns 22 this year. So when he turned 21, that was last year, 22. In 2021, late 2021, that's when I was notified through the home program that he was going to age out, which I had no idea. So I filed a grievance, an appeal, and I filed a state hearing, and I also filed a civil rights action.
Good,
against
because it's a
Medi-Cal.
violation
Yeah,
based on
so-
age, really, age discrimination and disability.
Right, yeah, and that's the part that's really odd about this.
Okay,
Because
but only because of a time limit.
Oh,
I'm gonna have
sorry.
to interrupt you.
We can talk
But I
later.
want
Okay.
you two
We'll
to
talk later. I want to hear.
afterwards.
I want to hear
'cause
what
she
you
wants
did.
she's got some answers for you.
No, and I want to hear. I think she has answers for me.
Oh, okay.
I know Judy.
All right, go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Paul, and I have a 24-year-old with autism. She's female, mild to moderate. And I just want to say to all you women and all you men out here showing up today, I've advocated for stuff. A lot of times we wear a lot of different hats. We're advocating, we're psychologists, we're therapists, we're our own doctors. And sometimes it's not so easy. We go through cycles of ups and downs, just like a roller coaster. And I just want to let you know we're all going through that. But I always am encouraged by everybody else here because, deep down in your heart, you know something else is going to happen with your child. You have unconditional love. We all have that.
Yeah.
And you always see your glass is always half full. And I encourage you to persevere. If you can advocate for you, try to do the best that you can for your child. And my heart goes out to each and every one of you because we've all gone through some of these points where we're all broken at one point in our time in our lives. And it's a bit of a struggle to get back together and kind of put the pieces together, start working again, just to have it broken once again. I just want to say thank you for having that, and then that you're not alone in this, and there's people out there that can help you, and to persevere if you can.
Well said, Paul. If you can pass that microphone to the lady next to you.
Hi, the panel was great. I have a question for Luis and Nolan. When you're figuring something out or you feel very independent on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel, with 10 being the highest? Nolan, you want to go first? Okay. Luis,
All right.
on a scale of 1 to 10, when you're figuring something out and you feel really good about it, how high do you feel? 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest.
10.
All right. Nolan, what about you?
I think I would say 8 to 9, because for the most part I'm pretty independent, I would say.
Cool. That's really cool. Thank you. And I just want to say the first part of this, the panel is amazing. The second part as well as the first part. First part we talked about traveling and problems like traveling and destination and so forth. I just feel this conference is really magical because I'm with Youth Drama for All. We used to do live shows the last 3 years. We've been doing films. This year, our film is called All Around the World. So you don't need a passport to come to the film. If you're interested, see me. It's this Sunday and a week following Saturday. We still have some tickets left. I might have a couple comp tickets if you want to come talk to me. Anyway, magical day. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we do have online a question. Go right ahead. Bev, give her the microphone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think, can you hear me?
No,
Everybody's
not
okay?
yet.
Okay, we have a few more questions. Here's one. I have a son on Spectrum. I work for a school district that is 20 miles away. Is there any company that provides transportation? Is there any services through regional center?
Now repeat your question, and I need you to speak out loud.
Okay. So, this.
They're trying to help you, so don't lean too close to the computer.
So this person, their son is on spectrum. And the question is, they have wait a minute, I work for a school district that is 20 miles away. Is there any company that provides transportation? That's number one. Number two.
And again, I need you to shout it out.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Is there any company that provides transportation? Second, is there any services through the regional center?
I can try it.
Well, is this for a disabled person to get to their job? Is that what we're talking about? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, this is a question for someone else. It's not for me.
Okay.
But is the child trying to get to school?
It's a son, someone's son.
So it should be paid for by the school district, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the child's going to school. Yeah, through the IEP.
Okay, so that is the question. That is the question.
So there are special needs buses
Yes.
often, yeah, like
Yeah.
Durham.
And I know that situation where families just don't know where to turn, who to ask, what to do. But there are available services. We don't have some exact answers, but there are services out there. Are there any other questions online?
Yes, two more, real
Okay.
quick, and I'll speak up.
Yeah, like you're outside.
Here's one. We have a SNT for our son, and I am not happy with the current administrator of his fiduciary. How do we change administrators?
I can try that. I think
Yeah.
what she's talking about is a special needs trust, an SNT. And an SNT always has a trustee. And I believe that's what you're talking about. And the trustee is the one who is in charge of managing the trust, the investments and any disbursements, that might be made. And it sounds like this particular person needs to change a trustee. Ellen Cookman seems not to be in the house anymore. So I'll pull in Ellen Cookman. Oh, we have a financial
Jason.
planner here.
So it sounds like to me that if the person, what they could do is possibly amend the trust if they're not actually receiving benefits right now. If not, they have to go back to the trust and read those documents on the exact way they can transfer it. So those should be in the trust documents on how you can on the exact way to transfer trustee. So always refer back to the trust. That's the key to everything. But if you're not using if the beneficiary is not receiving any proceeds, then at that point, then all you have to do is amend the trust, which I tell them make sure they talk to a special needs trust specialist as an attorney to do that amendment for them.
Yeah, hopefully that helped, if not answered, the question that you had online. There's one more?
One more. This one is, my son is diagnosed with a highly functional autism. What do we need to know as a parent whose child goes to a normal public school? What questions do we need to raise to the school? That's kind of like the same.
I would say, well, if he has an IEP, one thing that seems to be common to most everyone is social skills. That's sort of a common denominator that a lot of kids that are high on the spectrum, they still have a lot of trouble with socializing. And so to me, that's kind of a minimal to get social skills through the school. And then the other thing is, how is he doing in school? And try to look at the whole picture of what does he need, because everybody's different.
Okay. And is there any more questions? One more. Okay. Shout it to the hills.
Okay. What are your thoughts on stem cell treatment potentially helping someone on the spectrum?
I can take that.
Go right ahead, Jill.
It's not a validated treatment. So, there are actual clinics, like down in Panama, for example, that will charge you to do stem cell treatment for your child. There is no evidence that there is any, long-term significant benefit to children with autism.
Thank you, Jill.
I think that's it, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your online questions. We appreciate it. And your questions and comments right here at home. You are wonderful. We appreciate you. Our panel, our family panel, I thank you guys. We were scratching that scab there, but we all have a lot, and we feel it. We feel it. Luis and Nolan, I know this sitting tight can be a little irritating, but you were great.
Thank you.
Your comments.
I know.
Jason, Jill, Karen, all of you. I want to thank our panel. Again, Jill Escher, President, National Council on Severe Autism. Karen Fessel, Founder, Executive Director, the Mental Health and Autism Insurance Project. Shenna and Joe Johnson, they had to go, but back in Ohio, you have some new fans. And we thank you and congratulate the sons. Tell them that some people they don't even know are proud of them and proud of you guys too. Thank you. Nolan Kerman, you're a genius.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you, Nolan.
You're
Luis,
welcome.
Yeah, that's right. Luis Antonio Romero, keep doing great things. He has the best hugs too, doesn't he? The people who know him, when you see him, you're glad to see him. Take care of mom and dad too, okay? I know you will. Nicole Sane, you are the woman. And the kids know it. And you're not alone. You have brand new family.
Thank you.
Jason Matthews, a brilliant financial advisor and a great dad too, a great dad and husband. Your wife is incredible. So I'm so glad to our family panel. We love you. We thank our audience here and online. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mispa Brown-Rich, who is just come on up, Mispa, the co-founder, CEO of Joshua's Gift.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what a day. Oh, it was pretty emotional, but for us to get to talk candidly, about our lives, our journeys, and let the world know what we endure, what we deal with, and what our lives are like raising our superheroes, because that's really what they are to us. They're our superheroes. They're amazing, amazing individuals, amazing kids. I want to thank all of our corporate sponsors. Cisco, again, I cannot thank you enough. You have provided the platform for us to have this special day, to come together, to inform, and to reach out to the general community as well, because that was really the goal, was to bring the general community together with the autism community, and to help you continue to understand what our journey and what our lives are like. Most of the people that I work with, I should say all the people that I work with here at Cisco are some of the most compassionate people that I've ever met, excuse me, in corporate America. They care, and that's why I wanted to do this here at Cisco. Brian Tippins, who is the executive sponsor for this, we appreciate you, Brian, so much. You are the gift that just keeps on giving. Prashant, who also is a sponsor for this event. We're so grateful to him for everything that he's done with his entire team. Jackie is a part of his team, who also volunteered her time. Such a kind heart. He did not hesitate to help us support this event. We're so grateful also to the Meraki group, the inclusion group. And they were also a wonderful sponsor. And thanks to you, Nicole, for bringing them to us. We are so grateful. And thank you for flying all the way here from Chicago to be a part of this panel. Shanna and Joe, thank you so much as well. We're so grateful to Beaches because thank you for sponsoring the trip for us. And also a special shout out to, gosh, this is a special shout out to you, each and every one of you that took the time out of your very busy schedule today to be a part of this. Thank you to the virtual audience as well. We know you see us, you're hearing us, and we're so grateful for your love and your support. I want to say, I want to make a special request and have Fremont PD stand up. You guys are one of our partners, and each and every time that we've come to Fremont PD to do the trainings, you've embraced us, you're curious, you're excited to have us there. You want to partner with us, you want to make a difference, and every single time we called on you guys, you were there for us, so thank you. To all the volunteers, put your hands up. Those of you who are in the room and those of you who are not here, we're so grateful to you because this could not have happened without you. I have to send a special shout out to Christina Vargas and Carol Vargas, who literally carried me throughout this. I want to say a special thanks also to the production crew. My goodness, you guys rock. Kelvin, Brina, your entire crew, you guys were amazing and you held our hands through this and made this happen for us. And Brina, gosh, we were calls every single week, you know? You really dedicated your time to support this and we are so grateful to you. Special thanks to you guys. Couldn't have done this without you. I knew who I wanted to call. I knew who I wanted to reach out to. I knew who I wanted to have here because I knew what you brought to the table. I know that you can relate, you can empathize, and you know what our journeys have been like, and you live it and you breathe it every single day. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your love. Thank you for your passion for your kids and our family and our community and what you give back to the community. Jill, with your organization, Karen, all of you, thank you so much for everything that you do. I can't say enough about you, and you know it. What you and your wife have done in the autism community is just immeasurable. Every single time I've called, you've answered. It could be midnight, it could be, and you have to get up so early in the morning to be on the air. But you guys have done so much for this foundation, and I love you both, Carrie and I, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much, yes. I want to send also a special thanks out to Aramark. You guys saw the amazing lunch that you had today. We partnered with them and they, oh my gosh, they worked tirelessly and around the clock to make it happen so that you guys can enjoy what you had today, right? Thanks to Aramark. Thank you to WPR. I also want to thank CBRE. I want to thank Dina Hendry for all the work that she did. I want to thank Sarah Tao. Oh my gosh, Sarah just did an amazing job with making sure everything that had to do with catering and the managing of it, she was really big time responsible for that. I want to thank the expert panel as well, each and every person on the expert panel. That was amazing. That was incredible. And then finally, I want to thank, they say you save the best for last. I want to thank my better half, my husband, my best friend. Come on up here, babe. Come on up here with me. The other face of the foundation. Thank you so much. You were Joshua's best friend. You were his protector. You were his role model. You love him so much. I see it every single day. You're the one that get up with him 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. You're there. You've always been there for him. You've always been there for your family. You love your daughter so much. And Cassie came in from college to be here. She skipped a class today, and she came in to be home with her brother so that we can be here for you guys. So, and we appreciate her so much. I also want to say thank you to those of you, like my best friend who came in from Sacramento, to volunteer and be a part of this. And if I'm forgetting anyone, I sincerely apologize. But the last thing I am going to say for sure is I want to thank you guys. I want all the parents that are a part of the autism community. We know, and I completely understand what you go through day in and day out. We know the sleepless nights. We know the worries. We know that when your son or daughter walks out the door, we know them, but the public doesn't, right? And sometimes we just don't know what to expect and how they are going to be received in the public. And that is a major concern for us. And so with their encounters with the general public, and also you guys, I know you've been scrutinized, you've been judged, what kind of parents are they when your child is having a meltdown because he or she has gone into sensory overload and it's too overwhelming for them. I forgot though, I do have to send a big shout out to the Golden State Warriors because I do. I have to give it to them. They really are such an intricate part of our community and even more so partnering the foundation and the Oakland A's. Okay, honey, what do you want to say?
So I'm short on words, but I just want to again thank everybody. Thank you for the support of the foundation. We're going to continue to do everything we can to help families, to educate people, and to do the best we can. And I just want to say, my wife is thanking everybody. I'm the other half. I kind of do more behind the scenes things. And this is the vision. This is the face. You guys all know it. She's the person that everybody
grab her face too.
So I want to thank her, and please give her a big hand.
Thank you. Love you all.
Thank you.
Pastor Bryant, I just spotted you. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Vince, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. You're so welcome. It's our pleasure. Love you guys. Thank you. It's a wrap.
Like a light shining bright in the darkest tunnel, like a smile that can brighten any day. Never stopping, we leap over each hurdle, overcoming whatever comes our way. Gentle as the ocean breeze, fiercer than a fly.